Find Familiar is the petting zoo of spells, allowing your character to own any one of a number of pets for the low cost of only 10 gold. Many already regard it as one of the best early spells in D&D because, of course it is. Being able to have a pet frog is like 90% of the reason I play TTRPGs, but few fully utilize this spell to its true potential. So, today I'll be sharing some helpful tricks you may not have thought of that can help turn your cute companion into a powerful asset for your party.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Before we dive in, it's good to get an understanding of the spell's basic functions. Find Familiar is one of the best spells for scouting. The spell allows you to see through a familiar's eyes and hear what it hears while it's within 100 feet of you. So why not have your familiar take the form of a bird to scout from above the treetops? Or transform them into a rat so they can map out a dungeon for you and swing a potentially dangerous encounter in your favour. Additionally, while your familiar can't take the attack action, it is free to take any other available actions on its turn, including the help action. Fly your raven close to an enemy for easy advantage on your next spell, or better yet, have your rogue pick up the magic initiate feat and have a great backup option to ensure they get sneak attack on their turn. And this isn't limited to combat either. Your weasel familiar can give the help action whilst you follow an enemy's trail through the forest, or even get your pet spider to assist with an intimidation check by performing actions that, if described, would make any arachnophobes watching the video click away. An often forgotten ability of the Find Familiar spell is that it allows you to cast spells with a range of touch through their position. And despite the surprisingly low number of spells that have a range of touch, there are still some very useful options. There isn't much for combat. Your best option is Shocking Grasp, but even then you don't get to utilise the removal of an enemy's reaction since the spell will be cast on your turn, which means either the familiar will be too far away to cast it, or already has to be next to the enemy, which opens him up to being attacked. But combat isn't where I think this ability shines. Has a noble left the upper window of their manor unlocked? Fly a familiar inside and cast illusionary script to add your name to the land deed, and suddenly you now own a house. Or has a party member gotten themselves killed in a difficult to reach location? Why not have your familiar crawl over there and cast Revivify on them? Or my personal favourite, if you need to cause a distraction somewhere, why not have your familiar cast Flock of Familiars so you can... The 2024 Find Familiar spell is almost identical to its 2014 counterpart. Emphasis on almost. A small clause added in the newest version allows for any CR0 beast to be a viable familiar. Depending on what sources your DM allows you to pick from, there are a near infinite number of possible shenanigans you could pull. But even if you are limited to just the 2024 Monster Manual, there is one very interesting mechanic you can use to your benefit. Looking at the list of CR0 beasts in the Monster Manual, both the deer and goat are available. And what makes them interesting is that these are both medium-sized creatures. You may be wondering why I'm bringing this up, but what you need to remember is that many player species in D&D have a size of small, meaning that these creatures suddenly become viable mounts. And what's even better is that the abilities of these creatures are suited for being mounts both inside and outside of combat. The goat has both a movement speed of 40 feet and a climb speed of 30 feet, allowing it to scale difficult walls with ease. Whilst the deer has both a blistering 50-foot walk speed and has an ability which means it doesn't provoke opportunity attacks, making it better than some dedicated mount summoning spells. You can easily make a build that leans into this by taking the mounted combatant feat, so even if an enemy goes to attack your low HP mount, you can choose to take the hit instead. Now, there is another creature worth mentioning here, although, as a disclaimer, using this would be very DM and game dependent. Within the Monster Manual's list of CR0 beasts is the Vulture, a medium creature with a 50-foot fly speed. The mounted combat rules state that the mount must be a size larger than you and possess suitable anatomy to be a mount. Perhaps you can argue that the Vulture is carrying you with its talons, or that your leatherworker proficiency has allowed you to make a Vulture saddle, but if you wish to use this, make sure to talk to your DM first. Finally, I would be amiss if I didn't discuss the Warlock's Pact of the Chain invocation. The invocation allows you to forego an attack to allow your familiar to make one, but more importantly, it expands your possible companions to Imp, Pseudo-Dragon, Quasit, Skeleton, Slard Tadpole, Sphinx of Wonder, Sprite, and Venomous Snake. Earlier, we discussed using the familiar for scouting and providing the help action, but these tricks become way more powerful when our familiar takes the form of an imp. The imp has the perfect abilities for us. It can not only fly, but also turn invisible at will, so the chance of it being spotted whilst on the scouting trip are almost none. Additionally, the imp can take the help action in combat with little to no risk, as not only does that not break their invisibility, but even if an enemy can sense the effects of the help action, opportunity attacks are only provoked by creatures you can see, allowing the imp to fly to safety before the enemy gets a chance to hit them. But despite these incredibly powerful use cases, the imp isn't even my favourite option for this invocation. The top spot in my eyes goes to the skeleton. Not only is this objectively the funniest option, but skeletons also have the benefit of having the anatomy needed to use magic items. One of the best options here is the Wand of Magic Missiles, which allows its wielder, even a non-caster, to cast Magic Missile. And since Magic Missile isn't an attack action, your skeleton can do this without you foregoing your own attack. You also have the option of decking out your skeleton with even more gear and armor, but if you do, make sure you abide by your familiar's available proficiencies. So, next time you're putting your wizard spell list together, or wondering what spell to take with your magic initiate feat, remember not to dismiss the cutesy allure of Find Familiar. Personally, I believe it's not only one of the most useful spells in the game, but also one of the most flavourful. No one remembers a random human ranger, but suddenly give yourself a pet hamster and you've got Matt Mercer voicing you in Baldur's Gate 3. I hope this video has shown you Find Familiar's true potential, and has gotten you thinking about its other potential use cases. If you have any other interesting uses for this spell, feel free to share them in the comments below. Anyways, I'm off to go find 10 gold. Something about casting Fireball in a small room. See you next time!